Hey, good evening, guys. This is Jason once again. Yeah, it's been a minute. I've been going through some things, and this week has been something else. I will not blame it on NAPA. I think this is one of those situations that just comes along with trucking, and it just made it turn out into a bad week. Um, Tuesday, I had to make a delivery. I believe it was on Tuesday. I had to make a delivery to Amazon in Maryland. Um, I was coming from, I believe I was coming from Maine, either Maine or New Hampshire. I can't remember, one of the two. And when I usually for me, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've delivered to a number of Amazons across the country, and I've never had an issue with them. Usually it usually operates pretty flawlessly. If I have to have an issue about delivering with Amazon, in the past, some of them places that where you do your dropping hooks at, they have the trailers like squeezed up in there, and I'm pretty sure they do it like that because they have to use up every square inch. Amazon just does a lot of business like this. So, I mean, other than that, I've never really. It's usually in out kind of thing. I never really had no issues with them. But however, this day, when I arrived at this particular Amazon, I don't know if the person that I was dealing with at the gate were they new, or were they reassigned to this post, or I don't know what the case may be, but the information they gave me just wasn't helpful, and it was just delaying me pretty much. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was told to, oh, don't open up, go to door so and so, don't open up the seal. And I asked them, okay, who's gonna sign my bills? They said, oh, you just go inside the cage, and they'll sign your bills for you and that kind of thing. I get there, I wait maybe 20 minutes, nobody come outside. It's like two other drivers as well. I'm trying to hold the phone up from sliding. There's two other drivers there as well. They're trying to get some, direction on what they need to be doing with their trailers. Um, so we all trying to figure this out. Eventually, I talked to one of the yard dogs, and he tells me just go inside to the cage, and they'll help me out. So I went and did that. By the time I came back out, because I'm waited all this time because they said somebody would come out and break the seal. So when I came back out, I went to go break the seal. I go to move into the spot where I need to go. There's a freaking TA, a TA, tire repair guy. I mean, directly in front of me. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So, I had to kind of like maneuver around. I mean, if you're familiar with parking, this when there's someone an extra vehicle in front of the truck in limited space anyway, that just makes it makes it more tight. So anyway, that was pretty frustrating. So I pretty much got that done. Then I go to where the person at the gate told me to go get my empty. I go to get the empty. It ain't no empty there. There's a whole container there, and I'm not a container driver. I work for a company that doesn't do containers. So I called up my actually I went and talked to the yard dog, like another yard dog about it. He looked to see if there was any empties. He didn't see any. So I called up my company about it and see if they could find some empties, because they have the ability to track if there's any empties at a particular place, and not just hey, we do have an empty that's 10 miles away kind of thing. So anyway, they was like, you know what, just go to Target because your next load is going to pick up in PA. So, and Target is like right around the corner from there. So just go to Target, go get the empty from there, and and then you can go pick up your load. I go to Target. When I get inside to go pick up an empty, I see that there's a NAPA trailer that I'm passing by, but it has a out of service tag on it, so I skip that. Then I go down looking I find three other NAPAs, but they're all loaded. Call my company again and tell them, say, hey, uh, there are no empties here. They was like, oh, well, it show here that this particular trailer is empty. I said, no, that particular trailer is loaded. They're like, oh, okay. I said, but there is an empty, the one that's out of service, because I already checked it. And they said, do y'all want me to pick that up? They was like, yeah, pick that up, and then you can just take that right across the street, because they had it's not really across the street, but it's down the block across the street, uh, a tire service place that they wanted me to go. So I get there, get there, get the tire done and everything. That takes a minute. Now I'm finally off to go get my load. Now, bear in mind, had none of this had happened, the delay at Maryland Amazon and the this tire issue, I'd have already been at P&G picking up this next load. Get there, the loaders are not ready. It's like I get there about 1:00, 1:30, something like that, a little after 1:30. So they said, "Oh, the loader's not ready. Oh, it's supposed to be ready at 1300." I'm looking at my clock, and it's saying 1336, something to that effect. And then they kind of looked at their watch, and they seen what they were saying, but didn't make no sense. So they was like, "Well, if you want, you can just drop your empty, and you can just bobtail in the bobtail area and just wait for the load." Now, my my clock is like doing it now. I only got like 2 hours. And I'm gonna be honest with you, my whole plan was to pick this load up, go head over to the terminal, take a shower, and do my laundry, then travel the next day the 6 hours to deliver this load. So being that the load is not ready, and I'm like, you know what, and I checked, I can't run to the terminal because the terminal is an hour away. So I'm not going to burn an hour just to run there and then burn another hour to run back. Yeah, and I'm already working on recap, so I really couldn't waste no time like that. So I said, well, maybe I can go to a Flying J or something. Nope. Those were like almost 45 minutes away. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So, and then there was a truck stop like right down the block. They have showers. So I asked them, I said, hey, but however, this particular truck stop, if anybody familiar with, y'all know what I'm talking about. This where the limousine is held up in the air over there by the U.S. Express, and then over there, it was that Shippensburg, the P&G over there. So there's a truck stop right out there. However, you can't park there for free. So I asked him, I said, hey, how much is your showers? I said, cool. Now, if I pay for a shower, do I still got to pay for parking? He's like, oh, yeah, the showers is $10 and parking is $12. So I'm like, are you freaking kidding? I said, yeah, don't worry about it. I said, I'm just going to go hang out at the Lions Den, wait for this, do my 10-hour break, and then I'll go get it. Go do my 10-hour break. I'm going to do my 10-hour break. I must have been in it, like I said, now at that time, it must have been like maybe 2 o'clock by then. So I finally shut down to do the 10-hour. I wake up about 7 o'clock. Let me tell you, I wake up and I was driving overnight. So I didn't drink no coffee. I usually drink coffee, give me a cup of coffee, but I knew I was going to be driving overnight and it was going to be a pretty long drive. So I said, I need something that's going to, make sure, I keep my eyes open. So I drank 2 Monsters. When I woke up, I was feeling kind of droggy, how sometimes you drink these energy drinks and you crash hard. So, I'm attributing this dry, this feeling and this fogginess in my head is to me waking up from after sleeping a few hours off of these Monsters. No, that wasn't the case. While I was sleeping, my tractor, because I have it on Opti Auto. Y'all know how hot it's been lately. So the tractor turns on to do the optimized idle. Now, I'm not sure if I mentioned it. I probably did mention it. I just haven't had the chance, just haven't uploaded the video. But since I had this particular tractor, it has always, I'm sorry, but I don't know why it's going in and out like that. But it has always had this issue with smoke coming from out of the wheel well, the engine and the wheel well. Now, I've had it taken to the shop 2 times. The first time, Stoops, and if anybody familiar with Stoops, y'all know who Stoops is, all right? They're a dealership, deal with Freightliners. Stoops looked it over. Now, according to Stoops at the time, they said, oh, there was a sensor bad and this, that, and the third. I'm like, all right, cool. As long as it didn't happen, at that point, I'm like, okay, whatever. All right, it's done. It didn't have no issue. But then the following week, it happened again. But this time when it happened, the smoke wasn't just coming out one side, it was coming out of both sides. And as I'm driving, I can see the smoke being blown into the cab as I'm driving. I mean, I could literally see it. So I pull over and I tell them about this again. So then they send me to another place to get it fixed. Now this second place tells me like, oh, there was a bracket missing and some other thing, and we repaired it. I'm like, all right, cool. Now today, I mean, what day was that? Tuesday. I'm at the Lions. Then I will go to sleep, do my 10-hour break, wake up, feeling all foggy headed. And I sit up and I go to open up my curtains, and the sun is still out, so the sun is shining through, and I can see all this smoke inside of the cab because when the curtains close, it's all dark, so I didn't see no smoke. But when I opened that's when I seen it. I went and grabbed my footwear and I got up out of there. Left the doors wide open. Oh my God, I gave them, I called NAPA and I told them, like, listen, because I know it's going to be one of the young ladies that pick up the phone. I said, listen, this is nothing against y'all, but this isn't a good look here. I was asleep and wake up and they got exhaust fumes all inside the tractor. I didn't have to wake up. Like, I really didn't. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. How sometimes you sleeping and you kind of wake up and you're like, oh man, I ain't getting up. I'm going right back to sleep. I almost did that. But for whatever reason, I didn't do it that time. I pretty much just did it and I like, oh, let me get up. And I went to go check to see what time it was or whatever. And that's when I seen all the smoke. And anyway, I kind of went off. I'm like, yo, this truck just tried to kill me. Like, literally, I did not have to wake up. I could be dead today and not know what the fuck killed me. Just died in my sleep. And so I kind of went off, I mean, respectfully, none the least, but I was pretty upset about it. And, the lady was like, listen, I understand. You don't need to apologize because that is crazy. We can't have you doing that. So I never went back to sleep. Like I said, that happened a little after 7 o'clock. So I never went back to sleep. And because I was already waiting on the load, I told them, listen, I will get the load and I will bring it to the terminal. And she's like, yeah, bring it to the terminal. And they can look at the truck at 7 o'clock. And I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't already talk to them. I told my manager this. I said, listen, if this happens again, because I don't want to be in a situation because, I run opti idle all the time, because the weather is just crazy. I don't want to be sleeping in the truck and this smoke thing start happening. And sure enough, this is what happened. So I said, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want this truck back. I need a replacement truck. Now that was, like I said, that happened on Tuesday. Wednesday, I get back to the terminal, drop the loaded trailer off, finally take my shower, finally do my laundry. Then 7 o'clock come, I talk to the guy that runs the shop at Mechanicsburg, and he looks at it and he's like, oh yeah, I can see some soot coming out from the exhaust pipe from over here. If you can see it. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, I look at my engine all the time and I couldn't tell that was soot. It was kind of brownish, Now, when they say soot, I'm looking for like something that's black, like black like this, and I didn't see it. I should have took a picture, but I didn't see it. But in any event, he's like, yeah, I'm going to spray, when the guy comes in, I'm going to have him spray down the engine and turn the engine on, and we're going to look to see if there's any bubbles coming up that would indicate any leaks. I'm like, all right. Sure enough, less than an hour later, I come back, check again. He was like, oh yeah. He said, yeah, you're going to have to get out that truck. We're going to have to send that back to the dealership. That it has 2 major leaks and blah, 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 blah. Now, the only thing that I kind of felt good about is the fact that he actually identified what the problem is. Because sometimes if there's a problem and you tell somebody about it, but it doesn't happen in front of them, to them, it's like, okay, is he making this story up or whatever? I remember there was a time I picked up a trailer, and I think I mentioned in one of my preview, I picked up a trailer somewhere, and the trailer didn't have no brakes. I tell the mechanics about it. The mechanics didn't believe me. He's like, oh man, I got to go see this. And sure enough, there were no brake pads on the trailer, on a fully loaded trailer. So in any event, it kind of made me feel like someone actually confirmed this for me, because it seemed like Stoops and the other place, they couldn't figure out what the issue was. So they just told me anything, and they might not even have done anything for all I know, because the issue still persisted after each time that they looked over the equipment. So yeah, I had to pull all my stuff out. Now, I don't think I have a lot of stuff because when I left home to come here, the amount of stuff that I took with me is far less than many of the other times I go out over the road. It's nowhere near the capacity. Or, I got two small suitcases. I usually have a small suitcase and a big suitcase. I usually bring my microwave, television, just everything that I feel like I'm going to need. I didn't bring none of that. I just brought the two small. I just brought the, sorry, the alarm went off. I just brought the two small suitcases and some other stuff, and that's it. But when I pulled all this stuff out my tractor, I'm like, God damn, this is a lot of stuff. Then they tell me, okay, we're gonna have to put you in the hotel. So, long story short, today is Sunday. I've been in the hotel Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'm leaving Monday. My check is gonna look like shit. Straight jacket. So that's what I'm going through right now. I don't even know, I really don't even know how to feel about this whole situation here. Because again, like I said, I can't really attribute any of this to NAPA. Like, this is just one of them things that equipment fails. That's just what trucking, that's how trucking is. Equipment fails. I didn't see the issue. I'm no mechanic. I'm just a driver, But two other mechanics looked at this issue. Obviously, they didn't see the problem either, because obviously it happened again after each time, and until the shop manager actually took a look at it and found out what the issue is. So, that's what it is right now. I'm back at the hotel, the same hotel that I started from with from orientation from. Yeah, this is what I'm dealing with right now.